Good morning, everyone. Our lesson for today is all about nature in painting. Painting. Painting is the applications of color paints or other media to a surface to produce a picture or an artwork. There are types of paint. First is acrylic paint. It is water-based and water-soluble but water-resistant when dry. You need to blend color and paint quickly when using acrylic paint because it dries up fast. The effect created by acrylic painting is similar to that when you paint using watercolor and oil paints. Second is what we call oil paint. Oil paint is one of the most popular media painting. Oil paint is oil-based. It's easy to blend colors when using oil paints. These oil paints takes much longer to dry. Third one is watercolor paint. It is one of the cheapest types of paints that can used in painting. It is water-based and water-soluble. It is easy to clean up with just water to remain water-soluble even when it is dried. Watercolor paint dries up very quickly, so mistakes are difficult to correct. Number 4 is pastel paint. It is a unique painting medium. It usually comes in a small stick made of pure power pigment and a binder. Pastel range from hard to soft. It is easier to blend colors with soft pastel than with hard ones. Pastel painting is best in giving an illusion of depth by shading. And number 5 is what we call poster paint. Poster paint is a water-based and opaque bright colored paint usually packed in a bottle or jar. It is normally inexpensive and used for poster and children's painting. Here are the methods of painting. Artists use different methods of painting to create unique designs and effects on their artworks. First is paintbrush painting. It is the most popular method of painting. You can experiment with a variety of paintbrushes to paint from broad to fine details. The second one is the sponge painting. It is a technique of applying paint to the surface with a sponge. You can easily paint on a surface with the different types of inexpensive sponge, and you can use a sponge for mural painting or painting large areas. The third one is what we call the finger painting. Finger painting is an art technique of spreading paint on paper or on other surface of using fingers, hands, or arms instead. Visual artists and art style. Visual artists create their masterpiece in different art style. An art style describes the way an art works. It also determines the manner through which an artist finds his or her own unique way of expression in creating an artwork. Cubism. Cubism is an art style in which subjects are represented as cubes or other geometric shape, often shown from many different angles at the same time. It was developed in the early 20th century by Pablo Picasso, a famous Spanish artist. Here are the example of artwork made by Pablo Picasso. Vicente Manansala, a Filipino national artist, he is pioneered the art of cubism in the Philippines. He used transparent cubism technique in his painting Mother and Child. Here is the example of an artwork made by Vicente Manansala, Mother and Child painting. The second one is what we call realism. Realism is an art style that depicts the reality in everyday life exactly as it appears. Realist artists explore the actual likeness of conditions, events, people, animals, or objects in a composition. Jean-Francois Millet was a French painter and one of the famous realist artists. He paints everyday life in the rural areas. And here in the Philippines, Fabian de la Rosa, a famous artist, realist painter in the Philippines, considered as the master of genre in Philippines art. He was also known as the uncle and mentor to the national artist Fernando Amorsolo. And that's the end of our lesson for today. Thank you for listening and keep safe.